Hey Oracles, just quick note, in the middle of this video there's going to be some difficult audio just because of the wind I was dealing with. So I apologize for that, but it's symbolic of, again, what we're going to be going through, in my opinion, in the market for the next 12 months. So I left it there. I really couldn't fix it anyway, so I apologize, but please enjoy the video.
Hello Oracles. Well, this hike I'm on right now kind of reminds me of the market we're in, and I'm only maybe halfway to the peak, which you can't even fully see because of the fog and the clouds that I'm in. But thinking about the entire market that we're in right now, it's an uphill climb. It's an uphill battle. I think we're only halfway to the end. Not to say that we're only halfway to the bottom. Nobody knows what the bottom is, but I think we do have further to go. And it's going to be painful. I mean, I know going up this mountain, it's been fun. I mean, I enjoy it. It's about enjoying the journey and what you get out of it. And in the end, because I'm going through this, I will get to reap the rewards of seeing the peak from the top. And when I get there, hopefully it'll be clear enough for you guys to see too. But we've got some storms rolling in. It's just very reminiscent of the market. And this moment now, where I get this beautiful view, kind of reminds me of the relief rally that we're in right now. So yes, we are green the last couple of days. Hopefully going to end the day green today, which would mean that we would end the week green, which is amazing. But I think it's just temporary, because from here on out, I still have the other half of this mountain to climb, just like we will have the other half of the market fall to go, as we're getting into a potential recession and other ugly things that are going on in the market. So still a long ways to go, but we are getting there, and the journey and enjoying it and learning from it is what you're going to get out of this in the end, because we will get to the peak, we will get to the end of this, and we will reap the benefits from it. And just a reminder that the second half might actually be harder than the first half. Hence, what I'm about to climb right now could be more difficult and much more challenging. And we may get warnings along the way, which is a lot of FUD, but they're definitely things to pay attention to. Many of you mentioned it in the comments about how much further we can fall, and, economic collapse, things like that. And yes, I don't think it's going to happen, but it's definitely something to pay attention to and heed their warning. Here we are, getting closer to the peak. Sorry for the wind, but views as far as the eye can see, which is like 50 feet. But as we're going through the stock market, this could be what the next 12 months feel like. Just a struggle of going uphill in blindness, because we can't see what the future holds. So we're just taking one foot in front of the other and doing our best to get there. And eventually we will hit the peak, which is the bottom. And just when you think it can't get any harder, it does. And it sucks. And you keep asking yourself, when is this going to end? When is this going to be over? Like kids in the backseat of a car on a long road trip. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? We'll get there. We will get there eventually, and then we can start recovering. And here we have a literal sign of peak fear, because you should be afraid of the peak. Ha 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 ha. But anyway, this is really a lot like the market. When you see peak fear, you get to a point where, all right, well, what is happening in the market? What are we going to do? And the fear is what scares a lot of people away. And maybe people will see the sign and say, oh, maybe it's too much for me and I won't go. But again, this is just a warning. Definitely should heed the warning as a possibility and prepare for it, but it is just a warning. And you usually hit peak fear right before you hit the bottom, or in this case, right before you get to the peak. Here I am at the peak with my pizza, because that's what I have for food. But this pizza is very symbolic of the hodlers who are going through this turbulent time in the market. Sure, they could have brought better food for peak performance to come out of this even stronger, but they're just choosing to hodl, and they're ignoring the market, knowing full well that they will come out of this, and they're blissful because they got pizza. And unlike the COVID crash, I don't feel like we're going to get a V-shaped recovery. It's going to be very much like this hike I'm on, hence the symbolism of all of this, where I'm traversing from peak to peak. And I think if you invert what the altitude looks like that I'm climbing here, you'll see the opposites on the bottom. When we hit the bottom, we're going to have a bunch of spikes up and down and trade sideways for a little while before we end up turning a corner and coming back out of this. And while we're down there, it's not going to be pretty. I mean, look at my views. I think the view from the bottom of all of this is going to be very similar to what I'm experiencing right now. So it's not going to be fun unless you make it fun. And quite honestly, I'm having an absolute blast. And mostly it's because I have prepared. Although my food clearly wasn't good prepared because I had pizza, but either way I'm getting through it. But that's why I take care of my health, and health is one of my major investments that I have done in my life. But this is, I think, very symbolic of what the market is going to look like for the next 12 months. And very much like we will see at the bottom, very few people up here. Very few, because most people will either be sitting on the sidelines just waiting for this to end, or have sold out and given up all entirely. But some of us will be trudging through it. I will be one of them, and I'm sure many of you will be here with me. But that's just part of the reality that we're going to face as we go through this. And as I'm traversing right now, I finally get service, so I apologize I have not responded to anybody's comments, but I don't have Starlink up here and no service. But I did see that Tesla over 750 right now. Very exciting, making this hike even that much better. And very much like what we're about to go through, we're not going to be without missteps or pain. For instance, like my calf right now is locked up, cramping. But I have prepared for it, and I have salt tabs, so I can take those to alleviate the cramping. It's just like having that cash flow generation and the cash on hand to alleviate some of the pain that we go through during all of this. It's just a matter of being prepared and understanding that these things could happen, and if you're prepared for it, you'll be able to get through it. And now we start our descent, and very much like the potential of what we could be seeing coming out of it's not just going to be all sunshine and roses. It's still going to be rough and a challenging climb to get out of it, but we're still going to get out of it. And as we go down, it's going to get easier and easier. Just like as we come out of this and the stock market starts to turn around, it will get easier and easier. And as I'm descending, I'm still taking it gingerly, very much like we will when we come out of the market, because some of the injuries that we sustained along the way, some of the pain that we felt, could be magnified by uneasy steps as we're descending or coming back up. Oh gosh. So just got to take it easy and be careful. And some of you may argue, well, why not just sit it out? Why bother hiking the mountain in the first place when it's just going to cause you this pain? Why not just sit out the market and ride it out? Totally an option. Something, we've obviously suggested on here many a times. Just wait it out, like the pizza hodlers. Just sit there and ride this out, wait till it's done, and then hop back in as we come out of it. Absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. I personally enjoy the ride, and along the way, while my portfolio may not grow, my knowledge will. I'm learning a lot about the market and a lot about myself and how I react to the market and, times like this. Because, again, we usually cycle through this every 10 years. So I'm learning now for when we go through it again in the future, I'll know how to behave and how I react to it and how I can best invest in the future. And heck, maybe in the future I'll say, screw it, I'm going to save up a ton of cash and I'll sit on the sidelines and wait. Who knows? But at least this time around, I am using this time to learn. And as we're pulling out of this, the less prepared we need to be. As I'm getting lower down on the mountain, I don't need my jacket. I don't need my hat. Little things like that. Just like when you're in a bull market, it's easy to make money. You don't need to be prepared. All you need to do is throw your money in and you're gonna make some money. The benefits of investing during a bear market are when you get to a bull market, you are much better positioned because you would invested during those times when the stock market was depressed. And here I am coming down the mountain, and the sun is coming out. So what does this tell us? This tells us that timing the market is just like timing the weather. It's nearly impossible. Sometimes you get it right, and sometimes you don't. And at the end of the day, when all this is said and done, and this bear market is behind us, we will be back to a bull market where everything is beautiful and green again. You just need to get through it. So whether you choose to get through it by eating your pizza and hodling, or trudging through it like the rest of us, or selling out and just leaving the market altogether, whatever your choice is, when it comes down to it, we are going to turn around and come out of it just like we always do. As I'm on my adventure today, it's got me thinking about how I think Elon is very much like a hobbit. And what I mean by that is he's relatively simple. I mean, he says that with him you don't need to read between the lines, you just need to read the lines. Yet, just like a hobbit, he's always full of surprises. And much like hobbits, a lot of the troubles and challenges that they ran into were caused by themselves. But at the end of the day, he is also the ring bearer. And he is the one who is going to lead us to success and victory. And looking at other symbolism in it, I see that Legacy Auto is very much like Gollum, and they're seeking to hold the power of the One Ring that Elon is trying to get rid of, because, as Elon says himself, he doesn't want to be CEO. He's just trying to do the best for humanity. And in the end, as Legacy Auto grasps for it, it will also lead them to their own demise. It's just my take. Some thoughts I have on the mountain here, but just kind of hit me that it's very symbolic of a lot of the traits that Elon has with hobbits.